Hey guys, in this video I want to talk to you about the sounds of the Latin alphabet. Now in Latin we have the same alphabet that we do in English, so we don't have to learn a lot of new characters or new letters. But some of the letters do make different sounds than we are accustomed to hearing them make in English. Let's start with our vowels. So the simplest probably is the vowel A. Now in Latin, just as in English, a vowel can be short or long, and if it's long, we'll put a little line over it like that. That line is called a macron. But the A is easy because the long A and the short A sound the same. A always makes the sound of the A that we hear in the word father. So A never says ah and nay. A never says A. It always says ah in Latin. And then we have the letter E, which does have two different sounds. The short E is the sound that we're used to hearing in words such as pet, and so it works like our short E. But the long E sounds like the E that we hear in the word they. So E can say eh, or E can say a if it's long. And then we have the letter I, just like we do in English. And the short I is just what we're used to in English, so it sounds like the I in pig. But the long I sounds like the I in words such as sweet. It makes an E sound. And then we have the letter O, which is very simple. Short O and long O sound just like they do in English. So the short O sounds like the O in the word pot, and the long O sounds like the O in the word hope. The last of the vowels is U, and it's fairly simple as well. The short U makes the sound like we hear in the word put, and the long U makes the sound oo like we hear in the word flute. So these are the vowels, and you need to practice these sounds and get used to making sure that you recognize the difference between short vowels and long vowels. Most of the consonants in Latin sound the same as they do in English, but there are a few that we need to take note of. So for instance, there is the letter C, which in Latin always sounds like the C in the word cat, cup. We call that a hard C. It's a K sound. But it never makes the sound that we hear a C make in English in the word city. So C cannot make an S sound in Latin. It will always make a K sound. And then next we have the letter G, which works much like C. G makes the sound that we hear in the word goat, but it never makes the sound that we hear in the word, for instance, like giraffe. It never makes the J sound. So we say that C is always hard and G is always hard. And then the next letter that we want to consider is the letter J. In Latin, in classical Latin, there is no letter J, so we don't have to worry about that one at all. And then we have the letter I. I is a vowel, but when it comes in front of another vowel, so we'll put the letter V inside the box so that we don't confuse it. That stands for vowel. When I comes in front of another vowel, it is pronounced as a consonant, and it sounds like the letter Y. And then we have the letter R. In Latin, the letter R is a trilled letter. That means we roll our R's in Latin, just like you do in Spanish or Italian. Now, if you can't roll your R's, that's okay. I'd like you to try and do your best, because if you keep trying, you'll get better at it over time. I'm not great at it, but I keep trying as well. If you just can't do it, it's okay to pronounce the R in Latin the way that we pronounce our R's in English. But in reality, the R in Latin is a rolled R like in Spanish. And then we have the letter S. S in Latin always makes the sound we hear it make in the word snake. But it never ever makes the sound that we hear it make in the word has. S never makes a Z type sound. And then finally, this is one you need to remember well. The V makes a W sound. So when you come across a V, pronounce it as a W, not a V. Now these are the sounds of the letters. But there are times when two letters come together to make a unique sound. So for instance, when the letters A and E come together, they make the sound that we see the letters A and I make in the English word aisle. So AE says I. And that's one that we'll see all the time, so you need to try to remember that. The letters E, I, when they come together, make the sound that we hear in the word ate. They make an A sound. And then the letters O-E make the sound that we're used to hearing by the letters O-I in words such as oil. So A-E says I, E-I says A, and O-E says oi. Last of all, here's one we won't see too often, but when you have the letter B followed by an S, instead of making the sound that we would expect, the B sounds like a P, and the S makes its normal sound. So for instance, the word that means city in Latin is spelled this way with a BS at the end, but it is pronounced as ERPS, not herbs. These are the most important sound differences that you need to be aware of in Latin. There are some other minor differences that we will cover along the way, but these are the ones you need to practice, and these are the ones that you need to get used to seeing because you will see them over and over again. Hope this video is helpful. I'll see you next time.